What's got me excited and something I can't wait to play with at lab. I'm not a clinician anymore. I'm not doing ID work or anything like that anymore. But at some point in time, it will filter back to, you know, schools like Lindenwood or different, schools that we can work with it in our course labs, is what's referred to as lab on a chip. This is still not quite cutting edge yet. Okay, it's still just a little bit out of our reach, but I would think that within the next decade or so, we should see this. Basically, it's everything we've talked about in this chapter on one glass slide. You put a patient sample and the different circuitry that will be embedded in the glass slide, on the glass slide, will test for the presence of different genes, test for the presence of different proteins and things like that. And it's going to be doing this all at the molecular level. Why would this be good? Well, everything we've talked about in this chapter, especially the molecular part in section 15.5, is expensive. It's expensive, and for a lot of it, you need specialized equipment. Hey, guess what? There are parts of the world that can't afford specialized equipment, and some of those parts are here in the United States. You get rural hospitals, rural clinics, clinics and whatnot on some of the Indian reservations, things like that, you know what, they're lucky just to keep the lights on some months. To have a specialized piece of equipment that they may use a few times a year, but the piece of equipment costs more than a new sports car, you know what, they're not going to be able to justify that. But if you have one piece of equipment that moderately priced, that will replace pretty much the entire ID lab, well, you know what, more and more clinics in the rural areas of the U.S., Canada, Mexico, some third world, most of the third world countries will be able to start to afford these. Now, as I said, this is right now just beyond cutting edge. Okay, this is still in the realm of theoretical, but I see us making great strides towards this. And in the next decade or so, this is what it's going to be. It's going to be, one sample put onto a chip, put onto a slide, put into a machine, and that machine will spit out the results in, a few minutes or an hour or two, as opposed to all the different, credit card size things that you still have to have an incubator, you still have to have a computer, you still have to have all the reagents and things like that, and it just gets expensive. So, something to look forward to.